Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll, has died yesterday at the age of 83. She was said to have passed away peacefully in her Switzerland home. Her publicist released a statement saying, "With her, the world loses a music legend and a role model. There will be a private funeral ceremony attended by close friends and family. Please respect the privacy of her family at this difficult time." Since 1994, Tina had been living in Switzerland with her husband, German actor and music producer Erwin Bach. She got her Swiss citizenship in 2013. In recent years, she had been battling a number of serious health problems, including a stroke, intestinal cancer, and total kidney failure that required an organ transplant. Tina's manager of 30 years, Roger Davies, said in a statement that she was a unique and remarkable force of nature, with her strength, incredible energy, and immense talent. He said, "From the first day I met her in 1980, she believed in herself completely when few others did at that time. I will miss her deeply." On Instagram, Mick Jagger posted his own tribute, saying that Tina was inspiring, warm, funny, and generous, and she helped him when he was young. Elton John said she was one of the world's most exciting and electric performers. Viola Davis also praised her as a first symbol of excellence and unbridled ownership of sexuality. There were also a ton of other heartwarming tributes coming from people like Naomi Campbell, Magic Johnson, and Kelly Rowland. Tina had one of the longest music careers in history, which started in the 1950s during the early years of rock and roll. She met her first husband Ike Turner in the late 50s when he was performing with his band Kings of Rhythm. He was 25 years old and she was only 17. She found prominence as one of their backing singers and soon went on to front the band. The couple found commercial success and eventually became one of the most electrifying acts of the 1960s, with hits like Proud Mary, Come Together, and I Wanna Take You Higher. Their other hits included 1973's Nutbush City Limits, which was all about the small town where Tina was born. But through it all, Ike became increasingly toxic, controlling, and violent. In fact, he was the one who changed her name from her birth name, Anna Mae Bullock, to Tina Turner, which was a decision that he made without her knowledge. After 2 decades of working with her awful husband, Tina finally managed to get away from him. Her survival and harrowing escape was dramatized in the 1993 film What's Love Got to Do With It, starring Angela Bassett. Tina went on to rebuild her career and become one of the highest-selling female artists on the planet. In the 80s, she was an MTV phenomenon. That was a decade that she won 6 of her 8 Grammy Awards and had a dozen songs on the top 40. In fact, Tina had so much influence on that era of music that Mick Jagger himself admitted to taking inspiration from her live performances. To this day, we know that her music, her legacy, and her warmth as a person is going to live on for decades to come. Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis and Priscilla Presley, has tragically died at the age of 54. Yesterday morning, she was rushed to the hospital for a possible cardiac arrest. When paramedics arrived, they began CPR, and when they noticed that Lisa Marie was showing signs of life, she was quickly taken to a local hospital for immediate medical care. Her death was confirmed by her mother just a few hours after her daughter was rushed to the LA hospital. She said, "It's with a heavy heart that I must share the devastating news that my beautiful daughter Lisa Marie has left us. She was the most passionate, strong, and loving woman I have ever known." Lisa Marie was born in Memphis, Tennessee on February the 1st in 1968, which is exactly 9 months after Elvis and Priscilla's wedding. Her birth was international news because she was the couple's first and only child. As she grew up, it became obvious that she shared a lot of her father's charisma and talent, and she ended up following in his footsteps by releasing her own rock albums in the 2000s. Her voice was also added to several of Elvis's songs like In the Ghetto and Don't Cry Daddy. Lisa Marie lived with her mother in California after her parents split up in 1973. She recalled early memories of her dad during her visits to Graceland, riding golf carts through the neighborhood and seeing his daily entrances down the stairs. She said, "He'd always wake me up to sing in the middle of the night, get on the table and sing. I remember him as my dad, but he was a very exciting dad." Elvis Presley died in August 1977 when he was 42 years old and Lisa Marie was only 9. She was staying at Graceland at the time and would recall him kissing her goodnight just hours before he would collapse on the floor and never recover. The next time she saw him was the following day, and she found him lying face down in the bathroom. She said, "I just had a feeling he wasn't doing well. All I know is I had that feeling and it happened." But sadly, Lisa Marie would later make headlines of her own, particularly for her struggles with addiction and some very public marriages. She was actually married 4 times, and her ex-husbands included Michael Jackson and Nicolas Cage. In October of 1988, Lisa Marie married Chicago-based musician Danny Keough, with whom she welcomed 2 children, a daughter Riley in 1989 and a son Benjamin in 1992. After 5.5 years of marriage, the couple divorced in May of 1994. Less than a month later, she married none other than Michael Jackson. Jackson. The two of them actually met at one of her father's Vegas concerts when she was 7 years old, and Michael was still a member of the Jackson 5. They seemed to be very in love at the time of their marriage, but only 2 years later they ended their relationship. In 2000, Lisa Marie got engaged to a Hawaiian-born musician, although that relationship ended when she met Nicolas Cage at a birthday party that very same year. 2 years later, they got married during a secret ceremony in Hawaii on the 25th anniversary of Elvis's death. But less than 4 months after their wedding, the newlyweds announced that they were splitting up, and Lisa Marie admitted that they shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. Her fourth marriage came in 2006 to Michael Lockwood, and 2 years later they welcomed twin daughters Harper and Finley. The singer then filed for divorce in June of 2016, and ever since their separation, the former couple have been embroiled in an ongoing custody battle over their children. Apart from her music career, Lisa Marie was also a dedicated philanthropist, as she oversaw the Elvis Presley Charitable Foundation, which benefits homeless families and offers rent-free housing. She also worked with Oprah Winfrey's Angel Network to provide relief to those affected by Hurricane Katrina, and the Dream Factory to benefit children with life-threatening illnesses or disabilities. News of her tragic passing is certainly overwhelming, but it's good to see that many of her friends and fellow celebrities have paid tribute in the best way possible.
Steven Twitch boss passes away at 40. So yesterday we lost someone who inspired many people around the world, and it truly hurts to know that he will no longer be with us. At 9:49 a.m. Pacific time, Ellen DeGeneres would pay tribute to her friend, Steven Twitch boss. Ellen would go on to say, "I'm heartbroken. Twitch was pure love and light. He was family, and I loved him with all my heart. I miss him. Please send your love and support to Allison and his beautiful children." So if you don't know who Twitch is, he's a famed DJ who worked on Ellen's talk show. While the world has been mourning the passing of Twitch, TMZ would confirm that Twitch took his own life. After being notified by law enforcement sources, it would be said that Twitch's wife ran into the Los Angeles Police Department station on Tuesday, and she was extremely frantic because she said Steven had left home without his car, and that was something that he would never do. A few hours later, around 11:15 a.m., paramedics would get a call for a medical emergency at an LA hotel, and this is where they would find Steven. At the scene, it would be confirmed that Steven passed away after taking his own life at the age of 40. After his passing, Allison would tell TMZ that Steven lit up the room he stepped into. He valued family, friends, and community above all else, and leading with love and light was everything to him. He was the backbone to our family, the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans. To say he left a legacy would be an understatement, and his positive impact will continue to be felt. I'm certain there won't be a day that goes by that we won't honor his memory. Allison would then finish the statement by saying, "Steven, we love you, we miss you, and I will always save the last dance for you." Now, before Steven became a DJ and an executive producer on Ellen, he actually got his break in show business back in 2008 when he became the runner-up on the show So You Think You Can Dance. And he would then go on to some acting, and he even landed several roles where he showed us his dance moves. Now, Steven will always be remembered for the light and joy he brought into our lives and hearts, and his passing was definitely a huge tragic loss, as the world will no longer be radiant without his beautiful smile. So why we mourn the loss of Twitch, I think it's the perfect time to remind you all that if you or someone is struggling or in a crisis, know that help is available. Reach out to your friends and family and check in on them every now and then, because you never know what a person's going through.
Number 10, the last video ever posted. The very last video that Aaron took before his passing has since gone viral, with many viewers remarking on how chillingly different he looked and sounded throughout the stream. Appearance-wise, he looked extremely exhausted and defeated as he spoke about his future ambitions. At one point he said, "Just had a great meeting with the TV show that I'm going to be doing." He said, "Your boy's going into TV," and explained that there have been plans to make a show about him that touches on mental health awareness. The singer was bantering with a friend, and he brought up his childhood sweetheart Lizzie McGuire, aka Hilary Duff. The comment section was flooded with well wishes. One user remarked on his appearance saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't even recognize him. This breaks my heart. You can tell that he's been through so much. You can see the sadness in his eyes." Another comment read, "To me he just looks so tired here. He tried his best to fight his demons, but you can see that the damage had been done." Number 9, allegations against his siblings. Aaron's family life was beyond dysfunctional, but something that has flown under the radar in recent recent years is the disturbing allegation that he made against his siblings. In 2019, in a series of tweets, he accused one of his 3 sisters, Leslie Carter, of taking advantage of him from the ages of 10 to 13 when she was off of her medications. He wrote, "My sister Leslie suffered from bipolar and took lithium to treat it. She never liked the way it made her feel when she was off of it, and she did things to me that she never meant to do. I truly believe that." This would have been beyond difficult for Aaron to admit, considering that Leslie passed away at the age of 25 in 2012. He then went on to make some similar claims against his 2 first backup dancers from when he was 8 years old, and his brother Nick Carter. He went on to say, "Now it's Nick's turn to tell the truth of what he did to one of the girls in my family, since my truth is all out there, and I hope all survivors find peace and justice." Number 8. Moments with his mother. Back in 2019, Aaron and his mother Jane appeared on a reality TV show called Marriage Boot Camp Reality Star Family Edition. The episode shows you the kind of toxic relationship that Aaron had with his stage manager mother. At one point, he tells her how exhausting his tour schedule was when he was a kid, and she says, "I don't think it was that much. You weren't a Justin Bieber or anything." So obviously she had no real issue with forcing her sons into show business and making them the breadwinners of the family from a very young age. Aaron would eventually accuse his mother of negligence, and in 2003, when he was only 16, he fired her as his manager, claiming that she stole more than $100,000 from his bank account. He said, "Every show we did, we would probably make around $40,000 to $50,000 a show, and it was all gone." Even his father, Robert, told ABC News in 2005 the other kids used to call Nick the cash cow, and when Nick grew up, Aaron was the cash cow. Number 7. Melanies messages. Recently, more footage of the lead singer talking to his fans on Instagram Live has gone viral. The video showed him displaying signs of alarming behavior, which made a lot of people concerned about his well-being. In the days leading up to his passing, Aaron read a message on camera that he claimed was from his ex Melanie Martin. To give you some background, his fans had recently reached out to her, warning her that it looked like Aaron was using substances on camera. In the Instagram Live, he reads a text from her that says, "If it's true what you're doing, you're not going to end up alive. You're going to die. I love you, but this is not safe. Please don't do this to yourself." For a lot of people, this footage was extremely unsettling because it was just one of the many warning signs that Aaron needed a real intervention. Clearly, his friends, family, and even his fans believed that he was in a dark place and desperately needed help, but by that point, it was likely much too late. Number 6. Missed his last rehab session. There were several warning signs that were missed in the days leading up to his tragic passing, but one of the most obvious ones was that he missed a scheduled rehab therapy session the evening before he was found dead. It's been said that his ex-fiancée Melanie was desperately trying to be there for him amid his addiction struggles, and had signed him up for an outpatient rehab treatment in September, and after losing custody of his 11-month-old son Prince, the singer agreed to take part in the rehab program. So when he never showed up, the facility contacted Melanie to let her know about his absence, and she had to let them know the news of his passing. This fact is really heartbreaking because when he spoke about his time in rehab, he said that he was doing group therapy and parenting classes, and that he was doing all of this to try and be a functional and healthy parent for his son. Number 5. Chilling predictions. In 2017, after celebrating his 30th birthday, Aaron confessed that he was surprised to have made it that far and made a chilling prediction about dying young. He told Us Weekly, "I thought I would die by 30. Even when I was 13, 14, I thought, oh my god, I'm going to die. Life was pretty tough. I dealt with a lot of trauma, a lot of loss, a lot of loneliness. I just felt like I needed to get away." At the time of the interview, he had checked himself into rehab for one of what would be multiple times and made some shocking revelations about growing up in the entertainment industry. He said, "I had a different style of upbringing. I wasn't able to go to school, have normal friends. I wasn't allowed to have friends over. They had to sign waivers that said if they'd killed themselves, we weren't responsible. I was lonely even though I was performing for millions of people." So despite the fact that he worked tirelessly and relentlessly as a child pop star, in the long run, early fame and success in the entertainment industry ultimately made his life a whole lot worse. Number 4. The Instagram Live. During an Instagram Live on the 20th of September, it appeared as though Aaron was doing illicit substances off camera when his screen suddenly went black. Fans were convinced that they heard spraying and inhaling noises in the background. That's when police received a call on behalf of many viewers who believed that the rapper was going to hurt himself and take too many substances while on social media. Police and the fire department were eventually able to make contact with him, but he later claimed that the entire situation was a joke and claimed that he was only spraying air freshener. He told TMZ, "I'm tired of people coming after me, so I trolled everybody." Although Aaron could sometimes be heard joking about or downplaying his struggles with addiction, doing something like this on Instagram Live made it seem like he almost wanted someone to check in on him. When you look back at moments like these, it just reads as a cry for help. Number 3. The restraining orders. Sadly, in the decade leading up to his death at the age of 34, Aaron had lost what could have been his biggest support systems with his immediate family. He lost his older sister Leslie in 2012, and then only a few years later his father Robert, who died from a heart attack in 2017. But Aaron's struggle with addiction reportedly worsened in 2019 when both of his siblings, Nick and Angel Carter, filed for a restraining order against him. They said, "We were left with no choice but to take every measure possible to protect ourselves and our family." Nick added that he hoped he would get the proper treatment he needs before any harm comes to himself or anyone else. Aaron reacted to his brother's announcement that same day, saying, "I haven't seen him in 4 years, and I don't intend to. I'm astounded at the accusations being made against me, and I do not wish to harm anyone, especially my family." Although there's no doubt that they had their reasons, the restraining order that Aaron's siblings filed against him would have isolated him further from anyone who was really able to care for him. Number 2. Lou Pearlman allegations. Nick and Aaron Carter grew up in poverty in Florida before they were plucked from obscurity by the notorious manager/scammer Lou Pearlman. There were long-standing allegations against Pearlman while he was alive, mostly that he stole earnings from his talent, but even worse, that he physically took advantage of them. Aaron was the youngest of Pearlman's pop creations by far, and at 14 years old, he ended up suing him in 2002 for stealing his money. But throughout the rest of his life, he still seemed to have so much love and respect for his disgraced former manager. In many ways, he was the originator of Aaron's suffering. Yes, he brought him money and fame, which lifted his family out of poverty, but he was also manipulative and stole from his clients and eventually died in prison. But a lot of people questioned why Aaron, unlike his brother, continued to defend him until the end. He said, "Lou gave us all the ability to have lives today. Who knows where I could have ended up, man? In jail?" He was only 6 years old when Pearlman took him on as a client, so it sadly makes sense that he was never able to fully break free from his manipulation. And coming in at number 1, the recent police incident. Only 3 days before his tragic death, Radar reported that Aaron had been pulled over by police on suspicions of driving under the influence. His RV was stopped in Antelope Valley after it was reported that a vehicle had been weaving in and out of traffic near the area. But interestingly enough, although officers on the scene conducted a sobriety test, they found that he was not drunk or under the influence of illicit substances at that time. Later that day, it was reported that his ex Melanie, who'd been driving behind him, was the one to call the police as she was worried that he was intending to crash his car. This was certainly a bizarre incident considering that Aaron was completely sober. Regardless of the reason that Melanie called the police, it was concerning that she felt that she had to do that in the first place. Number 10. Unsteady on her feet. Entertainment reporter Billy Bush interviewed Lisa Marie at the 2023 Golden Globes red carpet, and as we know, the ceremony on January the 10th was her last public appearance. She was there to support Austin Butler for his nomination for Best Actor in a Drama for his portrayal of her late father Elvis Presley. The interview has since gone viral as many people have pointed to it as a warning sign that Lisa Marie was not herself in the days leading up to her passing. She spoke to Billy Bush alongside her dad's longtime friend Jerry Schilling, and at one point said, "I'm gonna grab your arm." Then she held on to him for support. Billy has since spoken out about that moment and said he is saddened over having done one of her final appearances before she died only 2 days later. He said, "It feels awful. I feel my heart is very heavy for pretty much anyone in pain." He also spoke about her mannerisms and said that he noticed throughout the interview that she was very uneven in her balance and her speech was very slow. Billy said, "When the interview was over, I turned to my producer next to me and said, something's off here." Number 9. Slurring her speech. A new TMZ documentary investigating the events leading up to the death of Lisa Marie Presley was just released yesterday, and it helps us get a clearer picture of her struggles at the time. When she attended the Golden Globes just 2 days before her death, she was visibly frail. Dr. Drew appears in the documentary and gives us his expert opinion on the warning signs displayed in Lisa Marie's last interview. He said that she was slurring her speech, she had drooping eyelids, and was unsteady on her feet. Quote, "That's not normal for a woman who is otherwise healthy at her age." The behavior at the Golden Globes was consistent with somebody on a lot of substance. At this point, a TMZ producer then says, "We have information that may explain why her heart suddenly stopped beating," to which Dr. Drew says, "The fact that she gets up and goes to the Golden Globes, good for her. I wish that someone had raised the alarm though, based on how she was looking." Dr. Dave Montgomery, a board-certified cardiologist and host of The Good Doctor, also gave his take on the interview. He explained on Good Morning America that many aspects can lead to someone having cardiac issues. He said that especially in women, incidences of heart attacks and heart failure for those ages 35 to 54 are going up. Number 8. Stomach pain. On the morning she passed, Lisa Marie reportedly complained of abdominal pain that continued to intensify, but the cause of death has been deferred due to pending toxicology results, which might still take several months. On that tragic day, her housekeeper discovered her unresponsive in her bed. bedroom, and her ex-husband Danny Keogh performed CPR. She was then transported to a local hospital in LA after getting at least one epinephrine shot, which restored her pulse. She'd reportedly suffered a full cardiac arrest and remained in the ICU in an induced coma and in critical condition leading up to her passing. According to the report, once she was in the hospital, Lisa Marie suffered a second cardiac arrest and was pronounced dead not long after that. While cardiac arrest seems to come on suddenly, there are usually warning signs that are often ignored. The most common are chest and stomach pain, breathlessness, palpitations, lightheadedness or fainting, nausea, and vomiting. In fact, researchers have found that of more than 800 people who've experienced sudden cardiac arrest, about half of them had warning signs during the month leading up to the arrest, and even 24 hours before. Of those who survived, 32% recognized the signs early and called the ambulance, while just 6% of those who didn't get help ended up surviving. Number 7. Struggling with stairs. On TikTok, yet another video was posted from the Golden Globes, which shows Lisa Marie was clearly struggling to descend a series of stairs at the ceremony, despite the fact that she got help from Austin Butler and Jerry Schilling. Reporter Billy Bush opened up about that moment. For his red carpet interviews, celebrities had to navigate 2 steps to the platform where he was standing, but Lisa Marie was having a lot of difficulty doing just that. Billy said, "It was clear that she was not coming up the 2 flights. I went down and met her on the carpet itself. I can tell you this, we had 2 steps up onto our platform, and I asked her, 'Here, let me lend you a hand to come up.'" He explained that she was clinging onto the arm of Jerry Schilling and very much relying on his support for balance. He went on to say she was cognizant. She was certainly with it, just a second slow, but she was there. She was definitely there, but just a tad off in some way. The host again expressed his sadness at her sudden passing and said that he would never have guessed something like this could happen, even though he did notice that Lisa Marie did not seem to be in the best place on that red carpet. Number 6. Mixing medication. The new documentary also dives into Lisa Marie's well-documented struggles with substance misuse. The outlet alleges that around the time of her passing, the singer had begun using painkillers in combination with weight loss pills. She first spoke out about her dependency on such medications in the foreword for Harry Nelson's book titled Prescription for Liberating a Nation in Pain. It was there that she wrote about the fact that she saw both her father and her ex-husband Michael Jackson die of complications from substance misuse. She started out the passage writing, "As you may read this and wonder how, after losing people close to me, I also fell prey. I was recovering after the birth of my daughters Vivian and Finley. When a doctor prescribed me medication for pain, it only took a short-term prescription in the hospital for me to feel the need to keep taking them due to the dangerous properties." She went on to describe the difficult path to overcoming dependence and putting her life back together. Through her writing, we find out just how much substance issues have affected her life and how many loved ones she's lost to the epidemic. Number 5. Rapid weight loss. According to the bombshell report from TMZ, we know that Lisa Marie lost a massive amount of weight in an effort to prepare for award season and celebrate the success of the Elvis biopic. She had allegedly gotten plastic surgery as well and also started taking weight loss pills. Sources told the outlet that she lost between 40 to 50 pounds in the month and a half leading up to the Golden Globe Awards. She was said to have undergone an extreme weight loss regimen ahead of the ceremony on January the 10th, which she attended with her mother Priscilla. Of course, that's a very short amount of time to be losing that much weight. It's unclear whether or not it was a result of the surgery or the weight loss pills. But either way, it's incredibly upsetting to think that she felt like she had to change something about herself just to prepare for the appearance at the Golden Globes. If anything, it just goes to show you how much pressure is on celebrities, and especially women, to maintain a certain image when they're living their lives in the spotlight. It was a happy night for the Presleys though, as Austin Butler ended up winning the Golden Globe for his portrayal of Elvis, and he took the time to thank both Lisa Marie and Priscilla in his acceptance speech. Number 4. Life insurance policies. The documentary also touches on Lisa Marie's financial troubles and alleges that she took up to 3 life insurance policies out before her death. The singer was said to be millions of dollars in debt at the end of her life. She allegedly cashed out 2 life insurance policies and intended to take out a third, all to pay off her $4 million debt. She took out one for $25 million and another one for $10 million, with family sources telling TMZ that a third one might have been valued at $10 million. Lisa Marie reportedly filled out paperwork to receive a lump sum of $2 million, but the policy was never cashed in because of a paperwork screw-up. As a result, she apparently left $35 million to be split between her 3 kids, 14-year-old twins Harper and Finley, and her eldest daughter 33-year-old Riley. In the documentary, producer Katie Hayes states that Lisa was never disciplined about money. Quote, "She was a big spender and she made some bad investments. She basically blew through $100 million in 25 years, which was her inheritance that she received from her father Elvis. It's been reported that all of those millions dwindled down to just $14,000 by 2016. Number 3. Priscilla contesting her will. Damning court documents have pit Priscilla Presley Presley against her granddaughter Riley, claiming that she was pushed out as a trustee and an inconsistent signature from her daughter Lisa Marie was used. She's now filed legal documents to set aside an amendment to Lisa Marie's trust, which eliminates her and her daughter's former business manager Barry Siegel as trustees and replaces them with her granddaughter Riley. Now Priscilla is hoping to make this amendment invalid. In the court filing, she claims that she and Barry were first named co-trustees on January the 29th in 1993. But when Lisa Marie passed on January the 12th this year, she found a new amendment, one that was dated to the 11th of March in 2016. Priscilla claims that that amendment, allegedly signed by Priscilla, misspells her actual name and contains a signature that appears inconsistent with her usual one. So she's bringing up the possibility of signature fraud. Priscilla also maintains that the amendment was never delivered to her during her daughter's lifetime, which is something that was required by the express terms of the trust. She also says that the document was never witnessed or notarized, and that the date on the document is suspicious. Number 2, ongoing custody battle. According to the documentary, there's now a family fight brewing over the custody of Lisa Marie's 2 twin kids, Harper and Finley. According to the report, their father, Michael Lockwood, will almost certainly get full custody of the twins. However, Danny Keogh, the father of her first 2 children, was living with the family at the time of her death, and he was also very close to the girls. So there might be an issue when it comes to custody. TMZ reporter has claimed that there is a lot of bad blood between Danny and Michael. To give you some background, Lisa Marie was married to Danny from 1988 to 1994, and to Michael from 2006 to 2021. She first filed for divorce from him in June of 2016, and ever since their separation, they've been embroiled in a bitter custody battle over their children. During the proceedings, the singer claimed that she was $16 million in debt, with most of that stemming from unpaid taxes. Michael eventually asked her to pay him $263,000 a year so that he could enjoy a lifestyle that is closer to his marital status of living. He also wanted $40,000 a month in child support. They did have a prenup, but Michael later claimed that he was badly advised by his lawyers. The case was initially settled in 2018 in her favor, but in 2021, Michael went back to court demanding child support. And coming in at number 1, strained relationship with her mother. Lisa Marie reportedly had a fraught relationship with her mother Priscilla, going all the way back to her teen years. At the time, Priscilla was involved with the Church of Scientology, which is another factor that might have caused a rift in their relationship in Lisa's early years. The documentary featured an appearance from former Scientologist Karen Della Carriere, who said that she remembers strained feelings between the two of them. She recalled a moment when she saw them together many years ago and said, "Lisa had a long face, miserable, stepped out of the limousine, and I heard Priscilla say, 'Handle her.'" Lisa Marie also spoke out about her upbringing and all the times she would clash with her mother. In a 2013 appearance on the talk, she said, "My mom was really strict with me, constrictive. I realized that it's not going to work very well because it made us not get close for a very long time. We are now very close, but when I was younger, it was difficult to have a relationship with somebody that's got you around the neck all the time." But even though their relationship might have been strained at some point, we'll never really know the entire story. Moonbin, a member of the K-pop group Astro, was found dead at his home in Seoul yesterday evening. He was 25 years old. He was found by his manager at around 8 p.m. in his apartment in the upscale Gangnam neighborhood of Seoul. His untimely passing was confirmed by his group's label in a statement that they posted to social media. Fantasia's official Twitter page wrote, "On April 19th, Astro member Moonbin suddenly left us and became a star in the sky." They said that they were deeply mourning him in such great sadness and shock. They also asked everyone to refrain from making speculative and malicious reports so that his family can pay their respects in privacy. This announcement has prompted thousands of comments from grieving fans, many of them expressing disbelief at how such a tragedy could have occurred. One fan tweeted, "I can't even process this information. This is the worst news. My heart goes out to his family and friends and everyone that loved him so much. Absolutely heartbreaking." Another person wrote, "I didn't know him, but this absolutely breaks my heart. He was only 25. He had his entire life ahead of him. Praying for his soul, all my condolences for his family, friends, and fans. I cannot imagine the pain you all have to go through. Please be kind to each other." Several pictures online have showed fans laying flowers and notes at street memorials in South Korea and across other places in the world, like the US, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Some fans have also strung up purple and silver balloons, which are colors that were featured prominently at Moonbin's last performance in Thailand. The Seoul Gangnam police station has since released their own statement about the incident. They said, "It appears that Moonbin took his own life, but they are waiting for autopsy to determine the exact cause of death." Now, this news has once again opened up discussions surrounding toxic practices in the K-pop industry, the ones that have devastating consequences on idols' lives. Most people know that that they're usually picked up by agencies at a very young age, in their early or mid-teens, and from that point on they live a life under tight control. Their days are taken over by grueling singing and dance training. The trainees are also subjected to things like intensive diet plans to try and meet unrealistic beauty standards. And the list goes on and on. Some of them have even reported surviving on only water and fainting due to exhaustion. Then when a trainee finally debuts and makes it as an idol, the pressure from their label only increases. As you can imagine, this has a disastrous impact on their mental health. Moonbin entered Vantiajo's training program as a child. He had his acting debut in 2009 in the popular K-pop drama Boys Over Flowers. Then in 2016, at the age of 18, he joined Astro. The group originally had 6 performers and they went on to release 3 albums, before one of the members of the group left in March this year. Moonbin was known as an all-round performer and he was Astro's most celebrated dancer. While his international fame was not exactly on the level of BTS or Blackpink, he was wildly popular in South Korea. In the hours since news of his death was announced, fans have already pointed to something that happened during a recent concert, which was deeply troubling. While Moonbin was on the Diffusion tour with Sanha to promote their latest EP, he did a live broadcast over social media and told fans that he has been going through a difficult time. He said, "I want to confess one thing. I'm actually feeling really bad. There might have been a lot of signs from which people could notice since the concert started, so I'm also very sorry to you guys. I chose this job so I need to be happy, so that I can make fans happy as well." Of course, there is still so much we don't know about how or why this tragedy happened, so right now we just have to wait for the final report to come out before we can find out any more details.